looking for some revenge here tonight.
Well, he's sure on a run, and he's taken the long way around all year long, but they'll be there, that's for sure. Anyway, the first rock from Neil Harrison. And it's right into the rings, into the 8 and up, touching the 4-foot. That's kind of a surprise, Ted, really, do you think?
Well, yes, all week Eddie's been going short in this situation and getting right into it. He certainly changed a bit of strategy for tonight's game. I know this afternoon's game he dropped it short on the first rock and got into a mess, maybe because losing that 4 in the first end in the afternoon game changed his game plan a little.
Take it easy. Well, Wayne Middaugh's moved it back into the 12-foot, sits in the 8-foot. First shot from Scott Bailey. It's actually out of play. I thought it hung on for a second.
I thought Ed this afternoon likely came up with his finest game of the series. I thought he was a little sluggish all week, and he hung in there, but it wasn't really spectacular the way he's capable of playing. I thought John Khawaja kind of held things in a lot during the week to get them in this position.
Yeah, he played very well this afternoon. Came up with some spectacular shots coming by guards by the thickness of a sheet of paper. So, a straight exchange of takeouts on second and third shot. Second shot for Scott Bailey.
It looks like they're going to feel one another out a bit in this first end and then see what happens, and then they'll go from there.
I think, too, Ted, with only one team out here, as opposed to having 5 during the week, and, you know, for several games, the ice might be slightly different. So I think they're probably taking the time to have a look at the condition and make sure that they're throwing the right weight. Although with the practice session, they should be pretty well right on.
Well, Eddie played this sheet this afternoon, so he certainly has a pretty good idea of how it's going to run. So I don't think there'd be a lot of change in the ice conditions.
Ted, is that an advantage for Ed?
Maybe a slight, but you know, all the sheets are running pretty well the same. Wayne's played that sheet at least once during the week, so he pretty well has a good idea of how it's working. So, you know, it's been a long day for Eddie, because this is his 3rd game today.
Yeah.
I thought he looked a bit tired all week, but he sure was sharp on this afternoon's game.
And also, he had an extra end game this morning and a full game this afternoon, right down to the last end. So, unlike Wayne Middaugh, who got off after 6 ends this morning, playing very, very well.
Yeah, Wayne's had lots of time to rest up for this game, and it's certainly be nice to sit back and be in the position Russ Howard is and wait for tomorrow's action. One thing about that, you're assured that you're in the finals.
Is Russ allowed to practice at all?
Yeah, I imagine they had a chance to throw some rocks today.
Well, Ian Tetley throwing his second shot here. Here's certainly somebody with a lot of experience, and that's a help in this team.
Well, with the exception of Scott Bailey, every player out there has had a lot of Brier play and World Championships, so there's no shortage of experience out there.
Here's the first shot for John Khawaja, and again, he played exceptionally well this afternoon, Ted. I was impressed by his play.
Well, John has a great delivery. He has good leg drive. He can throw that up weight. He can draw, make the soft come around. There's not much that John can't do for you out there, and that's one of the reasons why this team has been so successful.
And I think also, Ted, they've been together for quite a while. They know what they're doing. They're happy where they're playing, and that the team just works as a unit.
That's right. John at one time did play second on this team, and back when Paul Savage was vicing. But Paul moved out on his own, and Eddie moved John up the vice and acclaimed Neil Harrison again, who had been with him for many years.
And the first shot for Graham McCarroll. So unlike this morning, or this afternoon's game, I should say, we're starting off with a quiet end, a quick exchange of takeouts. This afternoon, it was a humdinger with 4 being scored. So
I think
a little different start.
I think the important thing with for Wayne is, just be patient. He'll make one shot at a time, and what happens, happens.
It's kind of like the NFL thing. Take what the defense will give you and then look for the opening.
That's right.
Because let's face it, if anybody, I don't think there's anybody out there with more experience than Eddie and Neil, and they're going to play everything in the book. A little roll off the hit here to the outside, change the position of the shot, and we'll see Eddie's first crack at a stone here in this game. Well, Ted, we couldn't ask for a better set of games. Mike Harris and Eddie Werenich this afternoon. Eddie Werenich and Wayne Middaugh tonight. And tomorrow, the winner of this gets the honor to play Russ Howard for the championship.
It gets no easier as you go along.
No. If you can survive through this, you've earned it.
Well, I'm sure whoever comes out of this field will certainly be a great representative for Ontario in the Brier and Halifax.
You're on it all the way. It hits and rolls out.
It's interesting that Wayne went down the same time Eddie did. He knew that he's going to have a fairly simple shot to throw, so you might as well pick up as much time as you can.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling in this type of game you're going to need it later on. Wayne throws the stone exceptionally well, Ted. Very, very nice delivery.
Well, he's likely one of the best hitters in this field. He was certainly a big asset to Howard's team.
That must have been a difficult job for Russ Howard to replace Wayne Middaugh, too. That's after several years together, it must have taken some searching.
Well, Russ certainly found a nice player in Kenny Mcdermott, moving Peter Corner up to second. But
yeah,
they sure don't look too weak out there in their play.
No, and to replace Wayne Middaugh, you've got to find a good player. Ken Mcdermott seems to be quite a fireplug. He's right in the game and plays very well. I was very impressed with his play this week.
I think that's one feature that Russ was looking for, because if they had any type of weakness, they might have been a little low-keyed, and to get somebody like that out there and charge you up, it certainly doesn't hurt the team at all.
Yeah. That's for sure. And they've played well all week. They earned the first place. So here's Ed's second stone, trying to hit the Middaugh rock, and I guess Ted make at least Wayne throw the shot. He has to roll out to blank the end, which I'm sure he'd like to do.
I don't know. I thought Wayne on his first one might have thrown it on the other side of the sheet, because they just made that shot on the rock before Wayne, so and also maybe change the turn on him.
So unlike this afternoon's game, Ted, we start out with a blank end. So after one end, the score is still 0-0, and Wayne Middaugh keeps last rock advantage. I would imagine we'll start to see some short stones now.
Well, Eddie indicated he wants it up short, so looks like the game is on.
Ted, the ice seems to be running about the same as this afternoon. 26-4 for the guard, halfway between the hog line and the house.
Well, it's certainly been consistent all week, and I think you'd likely be able to draw pretty well on this ice.
Well, I tried the other night. It took a while, but once you caught onto it, it was great. It was fun.
Well, you were on pretty green ice the first night, and that's the reason why they run a little mini spiel before the competition to break the ice in a bit.
But it was really something, Ted, to go on. And a nice shot here by Scott Bailey in behind the guard, just the back of the forefoot. Here we go. It was nice to play on. Shorty has used a little heavier pebble, of course, than he did then. But the ice, you just really felt the touch coming out, and you really had to control your weight. It was lovely to play on.
I imagine a lot of curlers don't get the opportunity to play in an arena.
It was really something. It was quite an interesting feeling, Ted. You look over and there were people in the stands watching, and that it was really worth the effort. And I enjoyed it. If we're going to broadcast it, what's it feel like? Really nice. Here's a nice rock coming up from Neil Harrison, right back to the shot and frozen right up to it. Here we go. Wayne Middaugh just telling him to come up to it, maybe touch it back a little separation.
I've elected to throw an intern draw here.
You don't think he's trying to get Eddie over on the intern side, do you?
Well, I think playing the intern, they have more chance of jamming it.
Great shot. Separation. Nice play. Exactly what was asked for. Eddie asking Pat Perot for the out turn. That's interesting, Ted, with each person playing a different side coming around that stone. We've usually seen them sort of following down the same path. Moving a little on them. And they touch the guard. Moves it over and just a slight roll up into the 12-foot ring. So we've got an interesting situation already, Ted, with a Middaugh rock on the button and frozen right up to the side of a Werenich counter.
Pat had 2 or 3 bad rubs this afternoon. I don't know if he coming a little tight on that shot or not, but
well, I heard them say down weight, so maybe he was a shade lighter. I thought that's what I heard them say as they were going down the ice.
Because you were wondering if the ice was bending a little more.
Yeah, we got into about the 7th or 8th end, and I saw John Khawaja rub a couple, and a couple for, I think it was Rich Hart for Mike Harris, and it looked like we might be getting a little more curl. It's a good shot for Ian Tetley. Right up to it, touches it, moves it out. They're sitting 2 right on the button.
I think Wayne was trying to get that rock maybe 2 or 3 feet shorter, but it still looks like a pretty good rock in there.
Eddie indicating back 8 foot, so they're going to try to move those 2 around. Already Pat Perot right down to the T-shirt right into the game.
He must be a lot warmer than we are up here.
I'm going to bring my curling gloves tomorrow, and my hands are getting real cold.
Well, imagine maybe we'll have a full house tomorrow here. That's for
I
sure.
would think so. He moved them and rolled off to the side there and into the back of the 8 foot, leaving those stones of Wayne Middaugh still counting.
If Wayne can throw one and grab part of the top of the 4, certainly putting Eddie in a lot of trouble on this end.
Yeah. From the camera angle, I think Wayne is still sitting first and second shot, although It might be. No, from the angle I can see, he's sitting too. Graham McCarroll. Nope, it's going. Ian Tetley's.
Ian Tetley's.
Tetley's second shot here. Yeah.
Looks a little warm and out a bit, so it looks like that line that Mike Harris was on with his last rock.
He's coming by the yellow one, touches his own rock and slides off to the side. Ted, almost perhaps setting up a pocket there.
It looks like it, and it looks like Eddie could drop one right in that pocket. Be an awful job getting that rock out of there.
He'd almost
certainly
need a
been nice
bulldozer
to be a bit shorter in that shot.
Yeah. And Eddie's asking it of John Khawaja right away.
You can be sure John will be awful close in this one.
Yeah, that's for sure. Again, he played very well in the afternoon game. Right in there.
Tetley was a little warm on both his, and
but they're not sweeping it. Backing off.
It looks awful good.
He's sure pretty close. He's touched the outside one and slides right onto the shot and the button. Oh. And I believe he shot stone too, although it's pretty tight from the camera. But he's got the part of where the tee line crosses the center line. So shot stone, nice stone by John Khawaja.
That's a pretty tough rock to work out of those rings, especially with that guard up in front.
I'm wondering.
It's likely looking at the intern.
Yeah, Wayne Middaugh's really having a good look at it.
Lucky they played that first end quickly.
Yeah. Here we go again with
now
these
they're
decisions.
Even.
I don't think we're going to see a big end very early in this game, but there were a lot of blue stones sitting there before John Khawaja played that one. Graham McCarroll.
There's certainly lots of rocks to come.
They've been sweeping this since it left his hand. Right on it.
On that, whether the Croons can hold it or not.
And he's touched the guard, rolling over to the side, but it does open it up, Ted.
Can I freeze the corner of it? Yeah. Yeah. Give me another 2-3 inches.
Well, that rock of Ian's being a little long certainly changed this end around. What was that comment?
Eddie had his hat off and was scratching his head singing here.
Yeah, okay.
I do really think the communication between John Khawaja and Eddie Werenich is quite exceptional. What a gang. They're on it hard. Now they're off. Going to try to garden the cover. Nine stones in play, Ted, and 5 of them inside the 4 foot. Has he got an angle to remove that, or?
Doesn't look like it from where we are. But
this looks like it's building like almost to be one of those ends where you give the other person one and don't do any, try not to do any major damage. But with the way these people are shooting, I wouldn't bet against anything happening. Going after the first one. Here's Graham McCarroll's second rock. And they taken off the covering shot and rolled out, leaving Eddie Werenich's one rock exposed again.
I think he was trying to feather it into the yellow that's on the button and maybe open things up a little bit there with that shot.
You think we'll see another guard played by Eddie, same stone as John threw?
I imagine he'll plug it, yeah.
They're having a good look, I'll tell you that.
Well, Eddie certainly had a good year on the cash circuit, winning $90,000. And Wayne Middaugh, for his first year back skipping, that team has won $27,000. So I'd take either one of those.
Yeah, I would too, and not complain. Well, it looks like Eddie's going to try to put that stone right back. Starting to move. And right over. They're going in a little deeper, I think. Right on top of it. Right on top of it. And sit there. Oh. I'd like to get an aerial view. I
think he might have to just give up one.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll see Wayne throw the guard.
Because Eddie's got another stone to come. They might be able to move it back and sit too. I think that's what he's worried about at the moment. Or if they're not already. It was hard to tell from the angle, but I do believe Wayne Middaugh's second shot. Well, again, Ted, we can make the comment, I'm glad I'm up here rather than throwing that one.
Well, the big change in that end was Tetley's rock a little too deep, and if he could have got it full 8 foot, Wayne had two nice rocks in there. So it gave the Khawaja a chance to come in and freeze to that rock, and that's more or less what set up this whole situation.
Boy, he threw it perfectly, right? Just sitting right on it. So Eddie's counting one. I'm not sure if anymore. This almost is, you almost wish you were allowed one stick of dynamite a game, Ted, to get through. There's an awful log jam around the button.
Well, this end slowed down a lot since from the first end we had. Thought we were going to have a nice clean game tonight. Get out of here early, eh?
No, I don't think so. Not in the semifinal for the Ontario Tankard. You knew that sooner or later you're going to get into the situation. They've had some interesting ones this week. Just you know, you're used to seeing a good shot, even a great shot, but the succession of great shots that you see here is something to admire. Wayne Middaugh was coming down the ice, and he said, I don't think I can do much with it. So again, here the idea is to make sure you don't give up more than one.
That's right. And as you say, I think you need dynamite to get that one out of there. He's going to give it a rip, though.
He's a pretty good runner. Out turn, he's going after it, trying to hammer them around. Well, he's moved something there. Well, now, this is interesting, Ted. There are two...
Well, that'd be interesting whether that was a good call or not.
He has moved away the backing, but Eddie's saying throw another one right in there on top of it.
I think he cleared 2 or 3 of his own rocks out of there.
Yeah, there's first rock is Eddie's, but second
Eddie
rock is
could move that blue through and sit 4.
Yes, he sure could. Second, third, third, fourth, and fifth rocks right now belong to.
That's why
third and fourth rocks anyway belong to Ed Werenich, and they're looking at it carefully. It could put a lot of pressure because that's right in the 4-foot too.
This is not the type of game you want to get into against the old master.
No. No, that's for sure. I mean, anybody who's watched him play the Skins game knows that Eddie will figure out the angles on you, and nothing sort of phases him. He'll go after them. But on the other hand, Wayne Middaugh, a lot of experience, a good shooter, and they've, well earned their second place finish this week, Ted.
I thought they likely throughout the week was the sharpest team out here, and certainly this game isn't over yet.
Here's Eddie Werenich's second shot. He's going to try to move that blue stone through, playing a good lot of weight at it. Coming a little over towards center. It's near the center line. Bang, right through and rolls off. And Eddie Werenich is lying 3. Two of them in the 4-foot ring, and I don't know if you can double them off, Ted.
Well, I imagine Wayne will certainly take a shot at it. He's pretty well forced into playing the hit there. There's no room to draw.
And if he removes one of them, of course, it lowers the score to 1. But
even if he hits and noses that, he'll only lose the 1 point. And right at this point, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's just make sure you don't give him a bundle. So he's going with the outturn. And, an important shot here for Wayne Middaugh early. Eddie Werenich lying 2 in the 4-foot, actually sitting 3. And Wayne Middaugh trying to get one, or at least keep Eddie Werenich from scoring more than 1 here in the second end. First end, we remind everybody, was blanked. It's a 0-0 score. Last rock of the second end.
Yeah, I think he'll play nice controlled weight on this shot and let the sweepers work it.
And he does deliver that stone very nicely. He nosed it. I believe he only gave up 1. Eddie Werenich steals at least a point. I think he got the second shot out of it there, Ted, but the camera angle's a little bit off.
That's about the best you can do in that situation. And as I said before, that shot of Ian's being a little too deep changed that whole end around.
Yeah, and John Khawaja took advantage of it just like that. Well, they had to, though, Ted. There were 3 blue stones in there, and it was looking like the possibility of Middaugh scoring more than 1 point. Well, here's Neil Harrison again, and see if we can start the ends off.
I think it's important to Wayne to be patient out here. It's only 1 point, and don't get into it too early. See, Eddie's bringing it right back into the rings, bring the play back into the rings. So Wayne's going to play the tap back to the 12-foot, see if he can build up a wall at the back and get something going.
That worked for him earlier in the week when people jammed it into the ones at the back. Yeah, I think we sometimes might be in a little bit of a hurry to play that short guard when people pull her in like that early in the game. I've seen several skips get into trouble with it.
That's right. And yeah, that one game he used that strategy. And
nice weight for Scott Bailey there, and taps it right back exactly as they were asked.
He used that strategy in one game, and I think he set up a 3-end we saw.
They just kept punching them back, and somebody finally jammed it right into the wall. Neil Harrison, they're looking to get rid of that stone out in front and roll over. Again, after 2 ends of play, Ed Werenich leads 1-0 with a steal of a point in the second end. And right away, Ted, we got the jam.
So I guess that strategy does work.
I hope so.
You can remember that for next year. Tell Joe, eh?
You can rest assured we will. Scott Bailey looking to remove that stone. stay and have 2 counters in the rings. Another good stone from Scott Bailey. And nice player, Ted. He seems to be a very consistent and good player.
Scott was an excellent junior player. I can remember back in '88 he played the Ontario Finals at Cataraqui, and he was the favorite there. Dave Allen kind of stole the show out there and won Ontario that year.
Eddie Werenich trying for the double, but peels off the front guard, rolls out. Ted, I noticed Wayne Middaugh thinking maybe going for the guard.
I like the corner guard. It's early in the end to hold your deuce. You hit and roll out once, and that kills it. Where you throw the guard, you know, on your seconds rocks, just to hold that rock in the ring. So the only problem with playing it against Eddie,
he's just liable to go around and freeze up, do you? Yeah. Doesn't matter what you do. I see we have a guest coming up here, Ted. Someone I'd like to speak to.
Yeah, Alison Goring has just joined us, who won the Canadian Ladies in 1990 in Ottawa. I remember watching that. And she just was successful in winning Ontario this year in Brantford a couple weeks ago. So
a hit and the roll right across to the face, and the game is on again.
So you'll be off to Calgary, will you, soon?
Yep, we leave on Thursday.
Great, great. And you're going to have good ice there because Shorty's doing it.
Oh, yeah, we're happy that he's doing it. Very much.
So did you have a battle in the Ontarios this year?
Yeah, it was the toughest field, I think, for the last few years. And my team played really consistent. The ice was great and had a good run.
Well, I watched you in Ottawa last year, and I thought you were playing really well. You had a young team at that time, and you look like you were on your game again. So
yeah, actually, last year provincials and this year, I think I've thrown the best I've ever thrown a rock. So
great.
Let's hope we keep it up.
Allison, the comments from a lot of people were that that's exactly correct. If you shot the lights out, quote, to put it bluntly, we wish you all the success out in Calgary. With the free guard zone now in play, have you noticed any change this year in the way people are playing it? A little different from previous years now that it's been in for 2 or 3 years?
Oh, yeah, the teams are getting a little more aggressive, but I find that some of them aren't being aggressive enough, and I find we are, and that's winning a few games for us by doing that.
You think you pretty well have to be aggressive, eh?
They put that center guard up and people go to the wing, and I feel that's a wasted shot to me.
Right.
You have to go in the center and force them to play with you.
Right.
So, definitely.
A real John Khawaja runner there. It's the first one we've seen today where he's really put some steam into it, busting some rocks apart. Right?
I don't know if you watched that game this afternoon, but that was sure a classic.
Yeah, I caught a few shots, yeah, but for sure.
Just incredible shooting. Who do you like in this game tonight?
I don't know. I think I heard Eddie's been struggling a bit all week, but this afternoon he seemed to put it on. I think he's going to come on strong. That's
what I thought. I just mentioned that. I thought he struggled most of the week, but he's still out there curling. So today's game, he likely was the best game he's played all week.
Alison, do you have any ideas on who is representing some of the other provinces, returning champions, teams, etc. in the ladies?
Yeah, we have the whole rundown. There's Sandra Peterson, of course, and Connie Lalaberty from Manitoba, Heidi Hanlon from New Brunswick, a lot of veterans, and there's a couple new teams, so it should be a pretty good field.
That is a tough field.
Well, I'm glad I'm not playing in that one, I'll tell you that right now.
Because Connie's an excellent player, and Sandra Peterson has certainly proven herself the last few years. So.
Yeah.
Playing last year, just watching it on TSN during the week and seeing the play last year was just an exceptional play. Well worth watching. I got my bag of peanuts. Don't bother me. I'm watching curling.
Yeah.
Well, I sure think the Ontario playdowns have got stronger in the ladies in the last few years than maybe when you went the first time. Like that field in Ottawa last year was great, and this one this year
Yeah,
got a lot of strong teams.
Definitely. There's a bunch of skips right now that are all sort of in a group, and we're all same age sort of idea, and we're all, strong.
Fighting it out. We're having a lot of fun out there anyway.
They are, and working hard to beat everybody you can, but enjoying it. Alison, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations. I'm just pleased to see you representing us again. I'm looking forward to watching you. We sure wish you well. And, you definitely aren't going to be at the bottom of it, that's for sure.
Well, thank you.
Okay, and I think I got some rooms for you or something every move, so I'll talk to you after the game.
Tell them to give you a few more freebie ones too there.
Some lucky ones.
He's been picking on me all week, so we'll toss him a few things. Alison, all the best, and a pleasure as always. You're a great representative for us.
Thank you.
Good. Have fun out there.
Okay.
There's one lady that can hurl. Wow. That should be quite a Scott Tournament of Hearts, Ted.
Yes, those teams you mentioned, we've seen them in action before.
And look at the field to get out of Ontario, as Marilyn Bodo was saying the other night. There was her team and Heather Houston and Alison Goring. As I say, I'm glad I'm not playing in that league. That's a tough one. 3
world champions fighting it out to get out of the province.
Wow. Here's Eddie trying to go for the double, I think, here.
Well, that was just a spectacular shot at Graham's, and John's right in the game tonight.
You bet.
And he was this afternoon.
There it is. The double. Rolls it over. But it does, Ted, leave it in play, and looks like you could get a double off the 2 Werenich stones there, and Middaugh could be lying 3 here.
Well, if anybody can make this type of shot, Wayne can.
You bet.
He's proved that playing second for Russ.
And it's interesting, Ted, with the play in this end. It's all been play in the rings.
Yes, they've changed the strategy the odd time. First end was clean, second end was messed up, and they went back into the rings and played the game in the rings. I think it's to Wayne's advantage to keep the game in the rings if they can.
He's got a good shot at it.
Too much.
But at Carroll, just a shade too much, and that leaves the Werenich rock at the back. Another double coming up here, I think.
Well, Eddie has to be careful. He doesn't jam it, and he doesn't hit and roll out. So, but those 2 blue rocks are in a pretty good spot to roll to. So,
yeah. Even if he rolls over in front of them, Ted doesn't necessarily have to hit them. But if he's over in front of them, it produces a problem for Wayne to get his stone out without removing those 2 counters. But they're still there, and they loom large.
Well, Wayne was close on that shot, that's for sure. Another inch more of that rock, and he had the double and maybe a little roll the other way. So
yeah, the Werenich stone that he hit didn't go by the one at the back of the 8-foot by very much. So here's again a.
Well, Eddie should be awful close on this one. throwing that
Guess what
famous
turn, eh?
out turn.
They're on it all the way. Oh, now they're off.
They must be awful close.
Now they're on. They got to get that bit of a roll. Bit of a roll right into the pocket. And sits there for 2. I think Eddie came to play, Ted.
Well, Wayne will have to draw for his point. I can't see anything there that he can.
Can he get the double off of that?
Well,
Can he get by that front blue stone and get the other one?
I don't know if it's worth the risk of. You have to count one, tie the game.
They're sure looking at it. Again, Graham McCarroll says just draw.
I like that.
And I think Wayne wants to play the hit.
Wayne's made a lot of doubles in this series. If anybody can make this shot, I'd put my money on him.
Well, he was taking ice out to the edge of the 8-foot. I think that's...
They're getting a little shot of us here.
Oh, jeez. That'll shake him up a little bit. I'm not sure if he's playing the hit or he's playing the... I think that's too much ice for the draw, isn't it, Ted?
No, he's playing the hit. He wants the
And
two.
he's coming. Off all the way. He's got a roll. He got it, but did he move it far enough? Nice shot. A real nice shot. And almost the deuce for Wayne Middaugh. Wow.
Just incredible shooting all day today.
Oh, he's within an inch of getting 2 there. A real fine stone, because you couldn't come across. Well, he couldn't have been more than an inch in front of that blue stone of his to save it. Great shooting. So at the end of 3 ends, it's all tied up at 1-1, and we've got a barn burner going here, as we kind of expected we would. Eddie Werenich scoring 1 in the second end, Wayne Middaugh scoring 1 in the third. First end was blanked, and we're all tied at 1-1. Let's see, Ted, are we going short or going in?
Well, I think Wayne he likes playing in the rings, I think.
Strong play by every member of each team, and the interesting thing, Ted.
Hot with this one.
He's into the 4, up the button, little behind, back of the 4-foot ring.
Pretty good shot.
Yeah. Ted, what's interesting was spectacular shots from one end of the rink to the other. Like the leads, seconds, and thirds are playing some great ones too. It's not just all left up to the skippers.
Well, Eddie's going to make a move here. That rock's deep enough in the ring, so you can throw the corner guard up now, and it's pretty hard to throw a guard on that shot. So
one of the things I noticed, Ted, was they weren't playing really a corner guard. People are sort of playing to cover the corner of the 4-foot, and it was getting some of them seemed to be getting into trouble because they'd throw the other guard up, and it narrowed up access to the 4-foot ring. And I noticed Eddie's a little further over than some of them were playing it.
Yeah, you'll see Wayne come in behind that one that Eddie threw up just to block off that corner guard, so Eddie can't use it.
Nice delivery from Scott Bailey there. He throws a very similar delivery to Wayne Middaugh.
Well, I think he's been the strongest lead all week in all the games that I've watched.
And there are some strong ones out here. Todd Tsukamoto and Wayne Harrison. Nice shot by the guard, right into the top of the 8-foot ring. Well, Eddie tightens the cap, and here we go. Neil Harrison is he trying to move that, Ted, or sit on it?
I think they're trying to move it back into the 12-foot and maybe get a little rollover in front of that rock in the 4-foot.
Well, they've moved it through and rolled over right into the
further
4-foot
than
ring.
Eddie wanted. He'd likely kept it in play, but he might be able to use it later.
Well, it forces some play at least back around the 4-foot ring.
Yeah, if Ian can hit this on the nose or even a little inside roll, it'd be perfect position. Looks a little inside on that shot.
They're sure yelling for sweeping all the way down. Caught half of it. He's rolled, still in the rings, but just out fully into the 12. Eddie says, you sweep it, eh?
I don't think he really got out to the stick on that.
Oh, I think a rock was touched. Two hits one way and one the other. He said it was moved a bit. No, that's too much. Move her back. I tell you, there's never a dull moment out here, and a lot of fun.
Oh, we certainly have a great crowd here tonight. Isn't that Lefty will sure be pleased with this.
That's for sure. With all the work that's been put into it, we've had a great turnout. That's pretty close to a full house, and I bet you we're packed tomorrow, too. Here's Pat Perot trying to come down and sit right on top of that bluestone.
Yeah, the freeze is like the shot.
A little off angle.
Pretty
right,
fine
sitting
shooting.
right to it. Oh, great shot.
I thought those freezes were supposed to be difficult.
They are.
For us. Just for us.
Here's Ian Tetley. He's going to want to get rid of that yellow stone for sure. He moved the 2 in the center and rolled across, took out the other counter, leaving...
Well, I think Wayne would have liked him more or less to nose that and stay right there. Now Eddie can use the corner guard, which he threw up earlier in the end.
And he doesn't take long in telling Pat Perot to put an out-turn draw behind it. Lots of room.
I like the game that Wayne's skipping tonight. I think he's skipping his own game, not thinking what the old masters are doing. I know against Howard, I thought he got into Howard's trap a little bit. And
well, it must have been kind of hard to play against the team you've played with for 3-4 years, and you know him so well.
And you know he can make any shot that is required.
That's for sure. Here's Graham McCarroll.
If Graham can... it doesn't seem to be moving too much.
Coming off center a bit now. He's going to catch just a corner of it. Drove it back onto the shot, got the jam, and rolls out to the other side. If Eddie can hit this, Teddy's going to split the rings, and a 2 looks interesting.
That's why Eddie was trying to get that rock and Neil's Eddie throwing there to stay in the back in that spot, so they might get a jam like that.
John Khawaja says board weight coming. Sweepers running all the way, moving a little. Right on the nose. So Eddie Werenich sitting 2 well spread in the rings, although there is an angle there, Ted. One's ahead of seems to be on the tee line, and one a little bit ahead of it. Do you go for the double?
Well, I think they'll try and hit and roll that way. I think they might like to stay. If they can roll behind that guard would be great. It's throwing pretty good weight, so it looks like they're going.
Graham McCarroll,
pretty
second
close
rock.
to it.
And he pretty well noses it. So
Not
again,
much
if
movement there when you throw that big weight.
oh, I touched that stone again. That's the second time that thing's been moved. And Wayne will hit it this time. Some good-natured manner between the curlers out here. You know, I've said it before, Ted, but everybody's trying to beat each other person's brains out, and they're having a good time. Here's John Khawaja's second rock. Ted, is he going to try to nose this, or?
Yeah, he'd like to hit and stay right there, I think.
A nice hit.
Well, we just have Peter Meller join us here in the booth, and it's nice to see Peter. How was the week, other than you could have used a couple more wins here?
Oh, we had a great week, Ted. My voice is just about gone now, but no, we had a super time, and I'd really like to thank the committee who put on a great week for us, and this sure is shaping up to be a great game tonight. After that first end, they had virtually every rock in play.
Yes. I don't know if you saw that game this afternoon, but that was a classic.
Oh, I was lounging, but after playing Mike a few times and watching their team peel, when I heard they were up 4-0, I figured it was over.
Yeah, so it was some contest. So, well, I thought you played awfully well this week.
Well, thanks, Ted. We had a team we actually just put together just before the zone started, and it kind of worked out well. And but it's awful tough here. A shot here or there makes all the difference.
It's a tough league.
Yeah, it sure is.
Quite a hit and roll there by Graham McCarroll over and behind the guard, Ted. Peter, I was impressed with your play this week. We did the game where you played Russ Howard, and the last 4 shots for you and your vice in there were really something.
Oh, well, thanks very much. We seem to have had good luck against Russ lately, but I'd have to win a lot more, I think, to catch up in wins and losses to him. But yeah, as I say, we had a good week, and it was just it all comes down to a matter of a shot here or there, and we didn't make enough this week. That's all there is to it. So, but we had a good time, and it's always a thrill to come and play in the Tankard, and I hope to be back again soon.
Well, from what we saw this week, definitely you're going to be back there. So, as you say, 1 or 2 shots here or there, and the record can change around.
Yeah, it sure can.
Yeah, Peter played in the 88 Tankard. I was lucky enough to make again, so that's where we met.
Yeah, actually, that was a lot of fun there, Ted. He started off and just sort of handled everybody early. And
you were looking to buy a knee slider after it.
I sure was. I sure was. Yeah.
So were a lot of people, I think.
Boy, they sure are aggressive in this league now.
Well,
I'm glad I'm not playing.
I was just sitting there and watching the end there, and I said to my vice, I said, when you play that game every end, all it takes is one mistake by any player, and you're in a lot of trouble in a hurry.
That's right.
So every player has to, make really good shots, otherwise you get an awful mess.
Yeah, I noticed the second end Wayne had.
Did you get it out?
No, no.
On the back of the 12. Still got a Werenich counter. Nice shot, too.
He sure can throw those doubles. Yeah, I noticed in that second end here tonight, Ian Tetley was a little warm on the shot. Wayne had a good end going, and it just changed the whole end completely around. And
yeah, when you play when you're playing the games with the freezes and the touchbacks, it's important that you always have a rock on top, and if it ever comes off the top and gets by, and they get another one on top, and you can just get in so much trouble so fast. And I mean, it looked for a while there, and even that first end where they had all the rocks around the forefront, it was looking good, but a couple key freezes and the right angles, and then Eddie was looking good. So. obviously Eddie's got his touch back, and he's not going to miss one of these draws very often.
Well, he looks a lot more ready to play today than he has all week. I thought he struggled all week. He looked tired, and he's just kind of hanging on, but he's the type that seems to plug away and ends up in the finals or semifinals every year. So.
Well, it could be that he's now at the point that he only gets really interested when it really gets on the line. So.
Well, he's proved that before.
Yeah, and he seems to keep coming back. And as much as anybody says that he looks like he's coming to the end of his career, then he just comes up and beats you again. So.
Well, that's a big two there for take control of the game. He'll likely come right into the rings with this, I imagine.
Well, I was just wondering whether he would or whether he'd throw it out front. So. Looks like it's. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if Wayne can get this back. You got a deuce back, and there's still lots of ends to play.
Just to recap the score, of course, 2 points for Ed Werenich, and the fourth end gives him a 3-1 lead. And Teddy did come right into the rings with it.
Well, Wayne's asking for Scott to throw enough weight to raise this back into the back 12-foot, get a wall built up back there, and maybe get a couple jams, and they'll set the deuce. Anyway, appreciate you coming and stopping in, and we'll see you over the lounge after.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I'll definitely see you, and I'd be happy to buy you a beer, and it's great to see you guys. And again, I want to say thank you to everybody in Kingston, because you guys put on just a fantastic show, and it's a thrill to be here.
Good.
Thanks
Thanks
again.
Peter.
Peter, you played well, and it's a pleasure for people to work when we have people like you coming out there, because the crowd really enjoyed your play and your sportsmanship.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Ron.
Take care. There's somebody who'll definitely be back, Ted.
Well, he's definitely a great shooter. He impressed me when I played him in '88 in the Ontario's in Ottawa. He came here kind of with a makeup team at the end, and won a few games, beat Howard, and.
Well, I think they gained a lot of experience there too, Ted. Some of the.
That's right.
They had the youngest player, I believe, in the. Tankard was playing for Peter, and the game I saw against Russ Howard there when we watched him, he played well, and then every other game we saw, they seemed to be in it, and he himself shot very well. I was impressed with what they threw. Anyway, Eddie Werenich lying too. He took off the stone that Wayne Middaugh played into the 12-foot. Wayne Middaugh throwing up another short guard, Ted.
Well, he'd like to get something going here. He knows he needs a deuce to tie this game up, and 1 points aren't very good when you have the hammer.
Does Eddie want to hit this and roll? He doesn't want to roll in front of his own, just completely peel it right on.
I think. They're not taking much ice on that spot, the edge of the rock. They throw good weight and a lot of handle, so.
Whoa.
I can see why you don't need a lot of ice there. That rock didn't move.
It didn't move at all. I don't think he pitched it wide. Didn't look like it. That's sort of the first clean go-by we've seen all day.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne Middaugh is going to take advantage of it and try to freeze one on that Werenich counter at the back of the 4-foot. Just a routine freeze for Ian Tetley. Wow. The level of curling's just been great.
That picked, or did he knock it
Well, I
out?
thought I heard they said it was picking. It sure moved. It took off on him. And it slowed down, too. I think that picked something. I'm sure it did.
This will be interesting what Eddie decides here.
Well, he's indicated he wants to come around that one and get another one in the top 8-foot.
Wayne's team certainly don't seem as sharp tonight as they have all week. Graham and Ian had a couple key misses or hit and rolls out in that last one. That kind of set up the chance for the 2 there. And then they got the jam on that back one. So
a nice shot for Pat Perot. He's got the right weight, although part of it is visible. Yeah, I would imagine, though, as the game rolls along here, we won't see too many misses from them.
looks like he's got nice weight this time.
Moving over.
Be nice to move it to the back of the 4-foot. Build a wall up there.
He moved it just off to the side, and there is a pocket. And of course, to jam it.
Sometimes you can get too many of your own rocks in the rings.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that problem?
Yeah, and somebody sits on top of it, and you wonder, where did all my counters go? It's that classic one, well, where do I put the next one?
That's right.
Sometimes it's best not to put it anywhere. Yeah. We actually did have one in this year where we just threw the rock into the boards. We weren't going to take any chances. John Khawaja coming near center line. The jam is possible. Oh, he put it right through the hole. He came a little over center line, and I thought they were going to jam it on one of the yellow ones, and it went right between them. A bit of a break, Ted, I think.
You can sure get frustrated when a few of those shots happen to you.
The best thing is to forget them and just go back to the next stone.
Just keep plugging. There's no tomorrow.
That's for sure. They want another one frozen in here. They're not giving up. Graham McCarroll coming down.
Looks a little soft with this.
Got a crack at it. Just touched the guard, rolled over into the center line in front of the
his weight
Werenich
was
counter.
good.
It
might
looked
have been a little soft with it, but he'd been close.
Yeah, he ended up in the 8-foot and losing some on the rub, so. You sure don't want to come across this one. There's too many to put it through the hole now.
What was the comment out there, or did you hear it?
I didn't catch that one. I think Eddie wants to make darn sure they're not going to come across. He's got a piece of it. Drives it through the side and rolls across. Take it right out of play. John Khawaja indicating he threw it a little heavy. So Graham McCarroll will get the chance to do that rock again, Ted.
Looks like he's got better weight this time than that.
Clean it. Clean it. Line's real good. Wait. Line's good. Just for weight. Just for weight. Yep. Yep.
Good shot.
Whoa. Whoa.
And right up to it.
That's a dandy. I don't think Eddie can see enough to get the inside of that rock, so likely be freezing up to it.
From the camera angle, I don't think he can catch the inside.
That's a good rock, especially not being frozen. If he's a little warm at all, he'll bounce his out in the open and give Wayne a chance to move it through.
Isn't it amazing how it always seems to end up on the out turn, Ted?
He's thrown a lot of them.
Yeah, that's for sure. Lots of room. Lots of room.
Still on the
There they go.
outside of the line.
It looks pretty good, Ted. Pretty good. Right on it. Oh.
Well, he's going to be tough to beat tonight when the old master has that 4-foot, and he's thrown a lot of dandies tonight.
That's for sure. Although if any team can do it, this team can.
Looks like Blue is still shot.
I think so,
And,
from the angle and the camera, too.
Wayne's trying to maybe throw one in the back of that counter Vetti's at the back of the 4. This is a touchy spot. You don't want to set up a double there.
That's true. And he's got to do something already. He'll just follow that other one down and you know, end up pushing the blue one out. Wayne Middaugh, real nice thrower. Throws the stone very nicely.
He has great touch.
They're on it hard all the way. He's come up light, right on the center line, too.
It looks like, to me, this end is coming this way is a little bit heavier. They seem to glide better going towards the home end. They've been talking about that all week, and that they felt it was maybe a second quicker going to the home end.
And we'll get the watch out in the 5th and 6th innings, Ted, and try to get some times and see what we can do with it. I can't catch the comments, but I tell you, this game, the tiebreaker in the semifinal have been some of the most entertaining for the crowds and thrilling to watch. If this isn't the best game in town, I'll eat my hat. Ed Werenich going to come down through the port, try to bump his and move that blue stone out and sit a couple here. Great shot. One yelling yes, one yelling whoa, and a great shot.
I don't know if Blue remains shot there. It's too close to call.
Pretty tight. They may have, Ted.
One thing I know, there's 7 yellows in the rings.
That's a scary thought, isn't it? You don't want to try a blast at one of these.
I don't think he has any choice other than throw it into the try and come around with the out turn.
I don't think they can get them out of there. You got to be real careful. It's an interesting situation here. Time out. Well, they're sure having a good look at it, Ted. What do you do? If you're in doubt, do you go after it?
Well, I don't know. They don't even know.
I don't think. The big question asked by spectators and curlers alike, whose shot, eh? It's all tight, Ted. You pretty well have to play it. You don't dare give them one.
Well, you certainly don't want to give up a point. That would put Eddie in a 4-1 lead. Now we have Russ Howard join us for a while, which he may comment on what to do in this situation here.
Russ, can you tell who shot out there?
I think from Johnny's reaction, Wayne shot. And they just couldn't sweep that one, eh? It wasn't quite bending enough. If it bends a little more, they sweep it in, and Wayne's in real trouble. But I think Wayne's sitting home.
Looks like it to me.
Yeah. What's he trying to do? Wayne, he's trying to make the quadruple here for about 3. If he hits half a rock, is that what he's trying? If he hits half a rock, rolls onto the right-hand yellow one, maybe they'll spring, I think. I don't really know what he's doing. Do you?
Well,
Stay. Yeah, his blue will get closer. Sorry, you're right. For 1. Yeah, you're right. And maybe a shooter.
I'm just sitting here, Russ, taking notes. It's not often you get to talk to somebody who's won 2 world championships. So with my caliber of play, I'll take every piece of advice I can get.
Well, the strategy we're still learning, with this free-yard zone. Every curler's got a different attitude, and I think you tend to play to your strengths. This is Wayne's strength, and he'll make this with his eye shut.
Throws the rock so nicely.
Does he ever? Like I said, he'll make this.
every time you
I might know the strategy, but I'm not a very good commentator.
That's
that
unusual.
5 times today.
That's just...
I'll wait to back
Yeah.
Next thing he throws it, hits a hack.
It's a humbling game. We played Eddie, and he missed the rings twice. And I played Eddie 100 times. I haven't seen him miss the rings twice. And we just come off a game that we lost 8-0 in 4 ends. So you never really know.
That's for sure. That kind of shocked me. That must have just one of those games, a bad start, Russ.
Yeah. We thought we had a couple rocks. Well, this is our excuses. We thought we had a couple rocks a little slower, and we're giving each other bad times. And Glenn was light on 1, and I was heavy on 2, and all of a sudden it was 4-0, and we gambled a bit. And it was game over.
Well, I think there is a few rocks out there that are
Slightly, yeah.
Close to the university.
Yeah, you're right. Eddie's a little heavy here. That's got to die in a hurry.
He's gonna...
Target's getting bigger now, isn't it?
I can't quite see there, but I think Wayne throws that same shot. He makes the double and sits 2-3 again. The one that just threw, can he nose it? Spring it out of the rings? Looks like he can from here.
He can, yeah.
In hindsight, Eddie would have been better to be light and heavy there because he had a guaranteed 1 probably. Now, Wayne...
What about Eddie around the
Yeah, why not? Yeah, true, sure.
I wish we could get a little more of an overhead shot there. I can't tell even if Eddie's second. Well, is he? I think he's still second shot. But
Wayne will make her this time because he can get close to that blue one and hit it dead on. I think he's going to sit 3 of those.
did he spring it far enough?
Great shot.
And he's sitting 2.
Yeah, he could have. I think he's laying 2 now. He made a hell of a shot.
I don't know if that's one of his favorite thinks or...
Actually, he got a little lucky. He rolled as far as he did. He rolls about an inch less. Eddie's going to tap for 2. Now he's got a tough shot for 1. He's going to play the straight back raise, I think. That's no easy shot.
No. find much difference playing 70 minutes in the Briar and then 80 minutes here?
Yeah, it seems to me the heck on sci-fi here. You're just 80's very comfortable, and 70 you're just rushing enough that you don't think sometimes.
Like I've said for the last few years, let's not make it a race out here. Let's make it comfortable.
That's right. I think the extra 10 minutes, I don't think the fans are too upset with that. It creates a lot of time.
It just eliminates the real dragging things that some of the guys used to get in 4.5 hours and 4 hours.
Russ, how much time to the game would the free guard zone play have added? Another 3-4 minutes to the game, do you think, per team?
Yeah, I think so. Sweeping air, I'll tell you.
Whoa.
I think it's getting a little bit flat there, just so that it's just down the center. Like just judging by the sweeping calls, there's 4 or 5 that just kind of done that, you know.
Yeah, they've had several move over. So we get 1 for Eddie Werenich.
That was a big shot, you know. That wrecks a little harder, and Wayne steals 2.
We would certainly like you to stay if you can, but if you've got something
Sure, no, I can hang around for that.
That's great.
Sure, no problem.
Just to recap the score for the people back in the lounge after 6 ends, it's 4-2 for Ed Werenich. And Wayne Middaugh will now have last rock on the 7th. And a nice... No, sorry. It was a good shot for Ed touching the guard there and drawing against 2. So here we go again. Ted, do you think he'll pull it in the rings, or are we going to get a short stone?
I imagine 2 up, he'll come to the ring.
Yeah, I think so, too. Eddie... Wayne did his job. He forced Eddie to 1, and he's going to go all out to score 2. He's getting a little late in the game here, and he needs something. Yeah. And Harry's a hair heavier, I think, so he's going to give Wayne a chance. That's a good shot. Good shot.
I talked to your wife about coming up and talking about this, see how her nerves are for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, really.
You want a prettier person.
Yeah. That's true.
It's tough watching.
Oh boy, is that ever.
I don't think you ever get used to it.
I find I'm a little keyed up just watching this game because it's good curling, and I know they're 2 great teams, and one of them's going home. You know, it is hard to watch, really. When you played the game, it's very hard to watch.
Well, especially when you know the people and that, and you can't go out and do anything. You'd love to grab a broom and run out and sweep.
Exactly.
I know when my junior team won the Canadians a few years ago, I thought that final game was about 7 hours long.
Yeah,
just
I know.
Drags.
You're so helpless.
Especially we got up something like 5-1, and then they tied the game later in the game. And we went the extra game.
Oh, no. Yeah. For a change, Harry's going to throw another out turn. he's thrown a few of those in his day. I never know this one, Ted, whether it should it be in or a foot short, or if you leave it a couple, you know, what do you do?
Ted, I've got a question for you. In 1971, you won Cars with Neil Harrison playing lead. Did you offer him a bad contract that he left you or something? I mean, why did you lose?
Well, he lived in Toronto, and I lived in Kingston. Those days, nobody jumped around like they do.
Because now Wayne's
almost have to leave it short.
Yeah. Wayne will be in the rings now. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Nice soft weight here. Has he ever? You know, I don't know Scott that well. I don't think he's been in this situation very often. He's played very well.
He's a good junior player.
Mm-hmm.
We played him in 89, I suppose. He was ranked likely #1. He was a guy before him.
Yeah. I'll roll out here, maybe. It's coming now.
This one you freeze, eh?
Yeah.
Freeze,
I think so. It's funny how it's adapted, I think, Danny. Like, when we first started doing this, we'd be afraid to freeze because it's above the tee line. It's certainly in the scoring area. But the guys are so good at making those raises and stuff now. There's a little bit more gambling going on. He could bump that back a bit maybe and be a little safer. Freeze with your next one.
Yeah.
That's a good call. He hit it.
That Mike Harris is sure hard to defend against.
Oh, gee, he's amazing.
He's out of nowhere.
He just pulls the goalie and away he goes.
He made 2 long raises from out in the 12-foot, I should say rolls, and cutting shots out that I just... Well, they wanted a roll, Ted, but got it on the nose. I wonder if we are getting more curl here. I really am beginning to think so.
There's 4 or 5 draws that really went on the intern side. I have to keep an eye on that. Eddie's team's got to be getting a little tired too, especially Eddie and Pat. You know, they played so many games in the mixed, and you know, they had to go challenge round.
And then went the B side in the challenge round too.
Played just their 3rd game today.
And they had Wayne had a short game this morning.
Yeah.
This afternoon.
Yeah, so Wayne's played 4 ends when Eddie's partway through his 3rd game.
The people back in the lounge might not wonder what all the laughing was about. John Khawaja took his gripper off and threw it back. Unfortunately, almost caught Eddie on the head with it. So that's one of the dangers of curling, I guess.
Do you find playing too many games really tough to concentrate?
Yeah, I get really stale. Yes, yeah.
Because you know, your old pattern was you fellas played very few games before Christmas at one time.
Yeah.
We tried to play in a bit more, or you play more now than you used to. But
we get a few invites out west, which we like to take advantage of, so we do play more. You're right. I feel definitely there's a burnout factor. I think he's got it now.
Good shot at it. Good shot. Good roll.
yeah, I don't know when you're playing, but I couldn't go weekend.
No.
I just,
And a lot of these shots during the week, nice hit rolls, put the pressure on the other guy.
John Khawaja's played well. He had quite a game this afternoon, too. Excellent game.
Pick.
never go sideways.
It really went.
Checked. Yeah, Wayne's got him going here now.
It could be soft because they're getting, the running surface of these marks, well, they were sharp by Olsen quite a few years ago, and they all pitted a bit. As you can see, you run your finger all around them.
Yeah.
So the ice gets soft at all. You get a lot of movement.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Wayne's got a great opportunity now. He's running behind here, and he's got to make a decision.
Be interesting to watch this draw, Ted, because that's from the center line over and see how far it does go.
Graham's got another good one. As soon as Eddie can get unless you get a bad break for that. Screws here.
Do you have any preference who you play? It doesn't matter. They're both
No,
great teams.
yeah, Wayne played a little bit better against us than Eddie did, but boy, oh boy, playing Werenich in a big game. They're both great teams.
You guys have had some great battles.
Boy, Johnny's he's way out there this time, I'll tell you.
That after wasn't
Is he gonna hit it?
Just the corner. Will they get it out? Did it go far enough?
Boy, oh boy, was that close?
Just.
That outturn took a long time.
Yeah, that's right. And didn't Pat miss a peel there a couple ends ago?
Yeah.
Must be a little straighter there.
Ted and I must admit, Russ, when we were practicing for the commentary, we had the tape up in Trenton of the game between you and Ed Werenich, and that was just...
That was some game.
That was a classic.
Yeah, that was a good game.
I sat right behind the sheet and watched that game. That had to be the greatest
Yeah, I think so.
shot-making
That was a great game.
exhibition I've ever seen.
Graham got by pretty easy, too. This has got to be getting tricky. I know we don't have a very good angle, but they seem to be getting by the guard quite easily, and then John darn near missed there, so it had to straighten out on him. Eddie's got to watch overthrowing this and hitting half a rock and jamming it on that blue one.
Well, they had a couple ends back, Ted, and when Eddie took it right on the edge, and then it went by. Yeah,
that's right too.
I don't know if he was a little forward.
But they sure didn't. He was right on the edge of the stone.
Can't afford to make a mistake here and give up a 3.
Well, he's throwing his favorite turn.
John's called them off.
That's the wrong way to do it.
Guard caught the stone.
Geez,
A bit of a roll.
They're going the other way.
He's building so soft. He gets a lot of movement.
Yeah. Wayne's got his deuce going. Tie the game.
It looks like you fellas don't use stopwatches up there during the game.
Yeah, we don't. We had a bad experience with them a couple times. We first started throwing to the times instead of feeling it, we try to communicate. Kenny uses one once in a while, but we haven't used one for years.
Teddy sure would like to have got a bit of a roll there in behind the guard. Might have made it a little more difficult.
I don't think Eddie can roll for shot, okay? Maybe.
Yeah, I never had any luck with stopwatches. I never used them. Kept them back when we were playing in the 70s. Nobody even thought of them. But we used a number system, like kind of 1 to 5 type of thing. And if you have a team you've played with a long time and your lead has a good idea how to draw the rings all the time, he can relay it on to you. So
yeah, exactly.
It works as good as anything.
He's going to turn inside roll. That's not going to move.
Try to roll it across. So Wayne Middaugh's got a nose hit for 2 here, and we got a tie ball game.
He'll make this one, that's for sure. This is his favorite shot on the center, out turn. He'll redeem himself for that other one. And it made me look bad.
I'm glad even the world champion can call some bad ones. We feel better now, eh, Ron?
Yeah, geez, yeah, I tell you. It's hard here, though, because sometimes you just don't have the feel for what they're throwing, so you never second guess somebody.
No, that's right.
He just throws it so direct.
Yeah.
Nice nose hit, 2 points. And after 7 ends, we've got a 4-4 tie ball game, and Ed Werenich will have last rock in the 8th. Kind of figured, Ted, this one would go right to the finish tonight. I didn't think we'd have any early ones.
Okay. Appreciate you stopping by, Russ, and good luck tomorrow. And
Okay, well, give it a shot anyways. Yeah, thanks.
We'll be in Halifax anyway.
Right on.
So.
Hope to see you there.
Can I get you an autograph now before you go? And Russ, thanks very much. Best of luck. And
Okay, thank you.
I also hope we don't have any more Merklinger games and ending it that way. I watched that rock with.
Yeah, no kidding. See you later.
Take care. Well, Ted, interesting to have a double world champion commenting on the game there. You learn a lot. I hope you took good notes.
Too late now for me.
Well, I would think for me too, but it's all fascinating to hear a comment from people. And it's interesting. I don't think Ed Werenich uses a stopwatch at all either, do they?
Yeah, I think Eddie does, yeah.
But it's interesting.
But it's not something you use every shot or every end. You know, a lot of people use a stopwatch, and they spend more time looking at their stopwatch than they do the game. So
yeah,
it's overused.
I always ask our front end, what I'm looking for is, has it speeded up or slowed down?
Yeah.
And you can feel it, but sometimes they'll...
I like to see, you know, I don't like to see the skipper vice using it. They've got enough things to do out there. If front end want to carry one there, great, but...
Well, I found, too, if I get down there, all I did was put a third watch in there and add confusion, but...
Well, I used one for a couple of games and found I was too busy looking at the watch, so I just chucked it away. I never did get very good times.
Ed Werenich played Wayne Middaugh played the short when Ed Werenich came around it, and the game is on again.
Well, Middaugh really had to go short in this end. It's the 8th end, and...
nice shot. By the guard close and rolling it out.
He'd sure like to steal a point here to get control of the even ends.
For sure.
But you can be assured this is going down to the wire.
Oh, I have no doubt about it. Another thing to note, Ted, there have been no steals in this game. And we've had 2 ends, so it's been quite a tussle. Neil Harrison trying to hit one and come across. You didn't answer my question, Ted. You just didn't give him a good contract to Neil. Eh?
What was that again?
You just didn't give Neil a good contract to keep him playing with you?
I think he found a better skip. Actually, we won the Cars in '71, and that was in the fall of the year. So we ended up in the '72 Tankard in Ottawa, and Neil was picked up by a team in Ottawa, and they lost in the finals that year to go to the Brier. Neil viced on the team for a fellow named Bob Woods, who...
yes. Yeah, he was...
Pretty top-notch skip in those days.
Ted, we've had another guard come over. He may have been a little light, but that still came over quite a bit there.
This end's going to develop into something.
Yeah, I think we're going to be back into one of those mind puzzler situations. This could develop into one of those tapes that you stop at one point and you say, okay, what do you do here? You know?
Yeah. Eddie's just going to throw it out in the corner by the looks of it. Set up at 2, and Wayne will have to...
Well, as Russ mentioned, though, Wayne likes playing those raisebacks, so it could develop into quite a situation.
This is a different call than we've seen. Not too many rocks throwing out in the corners.
Nice stone and back. They can't roll off it into the shot stone.
I think they'll just promote that, try and tighten up the rings, even at least hold Eddie to 1.
Well, it's going to be a battle, and it's going to go down to the wire. There's no doubt about that. Ted, again, awfully nice of all the skips in the Tankard. Peter Miller, Russ Howard, taking the time to say hello here and get some expert commentary on the tape. From their point of view, you know, people who've played out there, played both teams.
Well, it's certainly great to listen to Russ, who's had so much experience in Brier and world play.
Nice promotion. Onto the 4-foot, moves it back. It's going to develop all right, Ted.
It looks like maybe a hole there that they can come through.
Yeah, it looks like the front guard is just touching the center line on the left side, and the rock and the rings is to the right of center, so it looks like about a good 3/4 of the rock is exposed.
This end starting to look a little dangerous for Wayne Middaugh.
Possibility of a jam, though, on that blue one, isn't there?
If Pat gets a good hit and roll behind that corner.
It's kind of nice to know that even Russ Howard finds it hard to watch in the stands.
Well,
it's on the guard.
Got to be a little nerve-wracking. You got a big game
right on the
tomorrow.
guard. Something picked.
That's
went
a
right
bad
across.
Shot,
something picked it, went right across the guard.
But they're still in. There's 3 yellow counters in there. So.
Yeah. But boy, that really cut Ted. He was asked to go the other side, and it came right across and went by it.
It looks like it's getting a little soft out there, and maybe a little flat. This is the 3rd game on this sheet today, and there's quite a crowd in here, so maybe.
Yeah. Although we don't have as many teams on the ice as before too, and it might make a little difference. 2 of those counters are going to go. Nope,
That's
just the one.
Bad miss by Graham.
Well, we've had.
He had to set that out turn. That was important to at least get rid of 2 of those yellow rocks.
Well, Eddie's going after that shot again. I hope.
I think he overthrew that too. I don't think you need that weight in that type of shot. Key thing there is to hit and stick.
From the overhead camera, but at least half of that rock is exposed. Just a touch on the guard.
That's certainly a break for Wayne.
Yeah.
They underswept that rock.
Eddie was calling for sweeping all the way down, and John said, whoa, whoa, and then hurry, and it was too late. It just touched and went by.
If they sweep that and kept the little roll there, Wayne's in a lot of trouble.
So we're having quite a shot here and in here. We have another guest.
Nice to meet you.
We have another guest up here, Bob Ingram, the skip of the Ridgetown team. And Bob, your comments on the game so far?
Looks like a really close game. 4-4 so far. Tied up so far, and this should be a big end if Eddie gets a deuce out of that, or if Wayne steals this one. Whoever goes out of this end with the point should have control, I think. I think so. He's got one buried there right now.
Yeah, so they'd like to win a couple more games.
Yeah, it was a really
tough field out there.
Excellent field. I think it's one of the best fields I've seen in about 10 or 15 years. Yeah, if we would have squeaked a couple more games out, maybe we might have been out there. But
last year you represented the Ontario mix, wasn't it, last year?
yes, out in the Duke, Alberta.
Bob, you certainly put on quite a display of curling for us. I remember one shot against, I believe it was at Peter Miller and Rich Moffat here, where you hit on the outside and rolled across to the face of their stone and sat there, and there was no way they were going to get it out. That was quite a shot.
Yeah, that was in the 10th inning. He needed a 2 to tie us, and when the corner froze to him, he couldn't get his deuce. So.
And they just sat there looking, just shook hands. There was just nothing could be done. That's just indicative of some tremendous shots all week by all kinds of people. That was great.
Yeah, sure has been some great shots over here. I think there's a lot more to come too. These final tomorrow will be great. Even these next 2 ends here.
Well, during the week, Wayne looked like they were the team that seemed to play the best all week. He's struggling a little bit in this game. I think Ian got a
roll on the back. It's second shot. The two stones are lined up, Ted. Possibility for a double?
Well, he made one in the Skins game.
With what I've seen this week, and after that shot by Mike Harris this afternoon, and the one by Eddie that's coming back and getting stuff, I don't bet against anything.
So I guess they treated you pretty well here all week?
Oh, really well. Everything's been great. Our reception, our rooms, accommodations, everything's been good. People at the Kingston Country Club, the committee, everybody's been just day one.
Yeah, I think it's not being biased, but I think it's one of the better tankers.
Yeah.
They're all good.
This has been my third one here, and it's been my best. It's been terrible watching the one that I've
Just a shade too much and went by the one at the back. And that shot at the back may even be still shot stone, Ted. I think from the angles possible there, from the television angle.
Well, maybe they're likely enough to see this anyway. Denny making a double on him. You know, where do you draw it to?
Yeah. But we are seeming to get that curl. It must be flattening a bit, Ted, because we're getting more curl than they're expecting on. We've done that on about 4 or 5 rocks now. Nice shot.
Is he laying second?
That is hard to tell. I can't tell from the TV, and I can't tell from the angle here.
I think he must be, or they've been playing an inside roll. Inside roll. Yeah, that mixed is great. I fortunately playing it a long time ago. We played it left Ridge. We had a great week up there.
Yeah, they really treated us well out there, too.
Yeah.
Sarnia had the Canadian mix this year. This was the second week of January 17th, 14th. Eddie was there, and another team from our interior team was Jim Marshall from Trenton.
Oh, right. I know
Yes.
him well.
Eddie made tiebreaker there.
That was a long week for them.
It was, yeah. I think there was 14 teams. 14 teams.
Like that's getting to be a bit of a marathon when you get that much in.
I would say 12 teams, maximum 12. Because
The year I played in it, there was no playoffs, so it was easier.
Here's Eddie's last rock. That isn't. That's staying out a bit, looks like. Now it's coming across. Enough? Nose hit. Did he get one or two? That's the question. I can't tell from here.
John doesn't take a lot of time to get rid of those runners. When they're not close to the counter. You found the ice good all week?
seemed to change from game to game. Some games would have some real swing in it, and other games would be a little straighter, which was good.
We didn't know crashed a few times. Russ was up there earlier, and whether it was a little flat up there, thrown some interns down to our corner a couple ends ago, and when he was moving real hard. Maybe just burned.
Yeah, we had a couple games where there was 5 or 6 picks late in the game, and I think it was the flat spots, because I don't think it was hair brushes or anything. Nobody was using it.
Not too many.
No.
Just to recap the score for the people back at the lounge after 8 ends, it's 5-4 from Ed Werenich. For Ed Werenich from Avonlea over Wayne Middaugh of St. George's. Wayne's got last rock in the 9th. And Ted, we've got a short stone, and then we're back at it again. You thought, Bob, they were flat spots on the ice as opposed to, debris of some kind? Or?
Yeah, it was probably, it could have, I don't remember debris for sure, but it could have been a little bit of both. But sometimes it just seems like the handles were doing different things that the flat spots that showed in the past.
Wayne will certainly be going all over the case here.
If the opportunity comes, Ted, would he blank it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Eddie's not going to leave that one there, that's for sure. Yeah, and actually a hit. He's touched the guard, rolled across, and we got a Wayne Middaugh counter in. So something's changed, Ted, because we've had too many miss. I don't think he turned that in. They weren't jumping on it to sweep it early or anything, and flattening out.
We were asking where Bridgetown was. It was north of London.
It's right in between London and Windsor, 50 miles each way, right in the middle. About 15 miles from Chatham. Just about 10 miles off of Lake Erie.
And another one, Ted, they were lightning to the outside, but it's really took off too. Yeah. This could become a game of who adapts the quickest here, too. We did play, Ted, we played in the game before this started, and we played 12 ends on the sheet. They didn't pebble between the 6 ends, just the people playing, and we started to get a little change at the end, too. So I'm wondering if it is going down on them. So Eddie hits and rolls over and leaves the counter in the front. That was a big chance for Wayne Middaugh to get that second counter in. That's it.
I thought Wayne might either come down this rock or go off a corner. I'd still like to be going for 2 rather than blank in.
It would have been off the rings.
Got a roll. Across the other side. Hope to get something into play. Ted, do you think the fact that they seem to be moving more, maybe he's decided it would be better to blank that than, afraid of pushing it back or leaving the counter in play, or? And Pat Perot hitting and trying to roll it right back over the other side, keep it away from the corner. I hope you don't think John Khawaja is mad at Eddie, but that rubber's getting closer to him all the time there. He tosses it. And rock for Ian Tetley. Roll back.
You fellas play the cash circuit a bit?
We played about 3 cash bonspiels this year. We don't have very good luck playing for cash. We win a little bit, just enough to maybe pay our expenses, but then this year we didn't even do that.
It's certainly expensive.
cash bonds are up around Toronto and North Bay, and I don't really think there is a cash bill in Toronto. And that's a little ways for us to be driving 6, 7, 8 hours.
It amazes me that some of these guys go every weekend out west, down east. How they do it.
I don't either. I mean, it's hard from Kingston too, Bob, because, you know, even to go up and play in Toronto, most of us can't get the time to get away. You know, you can't play in the evening and come home. You would like to, but this rock seems to be staying out, Ted.
Did you get it?
Got it, and rolled off the rings.
Trying to get that roll over.
Well, we have all the makings of a blank end here.
Giving you the race rocks, I think you'll probably be satisfied for right now.
That's too late in the end. It's discussions.
This is the time we need the mic. Bob, again, I've made the comment. It was so nice of all the people out here taking the time talking to the kids. And the teams out here just have to be great sportsmen. They're wonderful sports people.
Yeah, they really are. Everybody on every team is. They're real competitive pros and real sportsmen. Kind of like two different people. When you're on the ice, you're on there to win, and when you're off the ice, you have to socialize.
Well, it's been good too. People are on the win, but you know, the handshakes and people are really good to people. I've enjoyed watching it. It's kind of nice. Tonight we could focus on one sheet. I was earlier in the week commentating with 5 games going on. There were shots all over the place. You felt like.
And the crowds are really good. Every time you hear the roar go up, you knew a great shot was made somewhere.
Right into the 8-foot.
We wanted to keep it on this side of the house, I think, so it's a little tougher to get that long roll over there in the corner. Because they were coming kind of close when they were outside of line. A couple shots went in. They're still rolling out.
Looks like they're still trying to. No. Going to get a roll, but not up far enough. So
Well, it looks like it's all going to come down to that 10.
yeah. Well, that's what they pay the skips the big dollars for, Ted, isn't it?
That's the nerves.
I tell you, it's just been great all week, the games, and always interesting. But we've actually had 2 blank ends in this game, which I am surprised at.
It's been a lot cleaner game tonight.
And Werenich hits it on the nose, so it keeps it in the center, and hard as possible for Wayne to blank it. But I would imagine with the weight he throws, this will blank pretty easily. Oh yeah, we've actually got 2.
You'll go at it again next year, will you? Keep plugging.
Keep plugging away. See if we can get back. I hear it's in Whitby next year.
Yeah, that's. Got to commend you. They'll do a good job.
Yeah, they're actually holding it in the Pickering Sports Complex, so it sounds like it should be quite a good tankard. Well, Bob, if you do get back, you're going to be a tough team to beat. I was impressed with your play this week, and gee, a couple of shots here or there, it could change a record dramatically.
Yeah, early games we were 0-3 early there, and we would have snuck one of those ones out. Might have changed things a little bit, but we got down
No.
Today. No.
Toppin had Howard Werenich. He didn't have any
Nothing out here.
No.
That's a tough start. I think I probably would have just fainted and they'd have brought me through the next day and wouldn't worry about it. And it didn't get any easier, too. The 10 teams out here were just really great.
Yeah, I think any team can beat anybody at any given time.
Well, last rock of the 9th end coming up. And Wayne would like to blanket here and go home 1 down with last rock. There's the blank.
Thank you very much. Thanks
Appreciate
very much.
it. And the best of luck next year, too.
Thank you. Bye now.
Take care. Well, Ted, you better get your thinking cap on here. You know what I'm going to do. It's peerless prediction time here. What's going to happen in the last inning?
Well, I think Wayne will definitely go for broke. He won't want to play an extra end without the hammer, and he'll go right after Eddie.
Oh, is Eddie gonna pull it right into the forefooot then?
I would say Eddie will bring it into the top of the 4, and Wayne will likely throw the corner up. They're starting out with the out turn, so they're going to work on that side of the sheet.
They've had good success with that turn tonight, that's for sure. Well, Ted, it's been a pleasure working with you all week. A lot of fun.
I guess he's calling it tight to the rings.
Yeah.
He's going out for the safe steal. So there's two ways to play this situation, and like I like the way he's calling it. I like that rock out there. That if you do get in trouble, you have a safety valve, then you can always pull your last rock around and maybe save the game.
Well, Wayne Middaugh's going right around it, starting to move now. He's going to. Just touched it. I don't think they wanted to do that, Ted. It must have been a shade light.
I think he's content with that. That's something for him to work on.
Ed says come around it the other way. We're actually getting an in turn here.
Yeah, we'll see how this one works.
Neil Harrison's last rock at the 10th. He's going to try to come around that center guard.
Well, you can sure Neil will be awful close with this. He doesn't miss too many draw shots.
By the guard by about 3-4 inches, and now they're jumping on it. Starting to move, right in behind, top of the forefoot, and just about completely buried. Two.
Would you say the game might be on?
I think so. I think it's been on for about 2.5 hours here. Wayne says come up to it, so ask Scott Bailey to do that. Little discussion. Maybe they might play the Rays, Ted.
Yeah, I guess that's what Wayne's decided to go with, is maybe tap that blue up. If they can freeze it to that yellow rock, it's a danger rock. Looks a little warm with that.
Starting to move. Not even. There's the promotion. To it.
That's a pretty good
Great shot. Ed's still shot, but it's out in the open now, someone.
Talking about running the blue straight back?
Well, Eddie certainly knows how to position the rocks on this type of end. It's just a case that Wayne's such a great hitter that he has to worry about Wayne making that straight back.
He asked about running the blue straight back, and Eddie didn't want to. He wants to get another stone in there tight. Starting to move on him a little here. What's going on to the guard? Just a feather off the guard and rolling over.
Yeah, so they get that shot around in the top 8 foot. That really
that rock in the 4 foot is almost fully exposed. If Wayne Middaugh comes in and gets a hit and a roll off of this thing, we have a real interesting situation coming up.
This is going to be a heck of a finish.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. But that's what we came to see, and these are the teams that can deliver it.
I don't see one person leaving this arena.
No, I don't think you will, Ted. Not till the last rock is thrown.
Hurry hard! Hurry!
By the guard thin. Got the rock and just an inch of a roll. He wanted a little more.
Well, Wayne didn't want to sweep that rock. I don't know if it made a lot of difference, but they might have got a little more roll on that. If he gets a great roll, it certainly sets up the end.
So are you going to come down and just tap that back now?
I think they're playing the freeze to the face of that rock, really. It's a way of protecting against the deuce.
Just by the guard. By both guards sitting on it. A little touch over, moved it back.
A little heavy for what Eddie wanted.
Wayne Middaugh still shot at the back of the 4 foot, Ted.
This end looks like Wayne certainly has control right now. They make the good hit and tuck a little bit. They've just played this shot, so they certainly know the ice well.
Yeah, if he gets that, he's got a chance at getting the points he needs to win. In turn from Ian Tetley.
Every shot is so important at this point of the game.
Looks like a good throw.
Looks
bending over, looks good.
Looks awful close.
Hit and a little roll behind the guard.
Just
from the TV shot, it's almost fully buried.
Right there. But don't count Eddie out just yet.
I don't think you count anybody out here. Eddie's going to play the run back.
This is sure exciting.
Where do I want to hit back into the crotch?
It's a little nerve-wracking just watching it, let alone being out there.
Yeah, it would be. But if I think one were given the opportunity, Ted, you'd sure take it. So Ed's going for the run back on the yellow. John Khawaja with the out turn. Hit. He moved them both off the foot, 2 stones. Opens it up.
Well, he certainly didn't hit it exactly where he wanted to. He'd like to stay up front with his the yellow rock that he raised back.
Wayne Middaugh still counting 2, and that 1 is buried. Covered by 2 stones. It's on almost fully in the 4-foot, just behind the tee line.
It's a bit of a dangerous rock, that yellow rock in the top 12. I don't know if Eddie could angle that in there.
No, it's there. He's also, if they don't cut off this straight raceback, he's just going to play the same stone they just played.
That's true, yeah.
So they asked to come in around it and cut it off.
Yeah, get full 8-foot would be a pretty good spot, I think. Is he a little warm with this?
Well, he's not. Looks a little deep. Through the port.
Oh, this could hurt him.
It's deep.
This could
right
hurt
to the back
him.
of the 4-foot and sets up a pocket. Uh-oh. It didn't take long for Eddie to have something on top of that.
Yeah, that.
Here we go.
That was an important shot, you know, to be in front of the tee on that.
If you're 2 feet lighter there, it's trouble. John Khawaja made one of these before to set up an end and see if he can come up with another one. Just touched the guard, feathered it off, and it went past to the back of the 4-foot. I'm not.
Well,
he's not shot, but whether he's second shot is debatable.
Wayne certainly got a break there, because if he gets around that, he's frozen right in the pocket there.
And now Wayne wants another one in there. All this through one port, ain't it?
It's getting a little messy. There must be an easier way to get 2 than all this.
I would hope so. Real fine and
it sure looks quicker going that way, doesn't it, to you?
Yeah, I didn't put the watch on it, but it does. Great line.
Good rock right here.
Here's a good one coming in.
Is it sliding a little more than they wanted?
8-foot, 4-foot, back again, back right on the button. But I think they wanted it ahead, didn't they, Ted?
Well, I think they'd like it another 2 feet shorter.
They've got 2 of them there. It's going to be hard to move them.
Because if Eddie can put the freeze on this, he's covering the button. It just depends how he gets, how he positions it, whether Wayne be able to move him out and hold his two rocks in there.
Well, Ed's indicated the same thing, edge of the 8-foot coming through the hole. Draw weight, that's what they've been throwing, so for ice, it's going to be interesting.
Well, they're forcing Eddie into his in-turn, so see how this one goes. Lots of room here. It's not even on the center blue paper. It's not on the blue yet. Starting to move now. Starting now. I think he's close. He's got a goodie if it gets by that front yellow now. Look at this shot. Great stone, but I think it's about an inch or two short. Well, certainly still a dangerous rock. Now they got to look and see who's second shot. An interesting decision to make. This might be the when you have the last rock throw the guard up here. Oh man. Well, the danger of throwing the guard is that if Eddie makes the raise back, you're guarding his rock. Yeah, you're dead. That's what they're indicating. They must be sitting too. That's what they like. So they must be sitting too. That's again, Ted, 5 rocks in the 4-foot ring. If I watch any more of these ends, I'm going to start drinking again.
I'm not commenting on that line one bit. Well, Wayne Middaugh must be sitting too. 'Cause I don't think he'd guard if it was one. Ted, do you?
No, I don't think. I think he'd certainly be looking at some way of squeezing that yellow out. He's not a guy to play it safe that we've seen all week.
Well, he's got the whole thing plugged off, although that may have come. He's blocked off the straight back raise. John and Eddie having quite a look at it there.
As long as Eddie doesn't fall over top of the rocks, we'll be in good shape.
It's a tough-looking situation. I believe their third shot at the moment, but it's hard to tell from the angle of the camera.
They're bringing the lead is coming in to check it out.
Everybody. This is wish. Uh-oh, here he comes. Boo from the crowd. They're going to chase the front end out of the rings again. Oh. That's oh. Always fun in this sport. Well, Ted? They're in quite a situation here. I think that he's lying to
here.
I really don't know.
That's why you're vicing instead of skipping, eh?
That's why I'm up here for this competition, I'll tell you that. Your comment earlier, the angled raise onto his own yellow one might be useful here.
This is when you're glad you're just the lead on the team. You don't have to make any decisions.
Yeah, your shots have been thrown and you're done, yeah. But yet it's your team, you know.
Well, it's definitely that Wayne is laying two because Eddie's going to try the jump shot, and you can be sure he's going to be awful close with this.
I'm wondering about why they wouldn't play the angled raise. Well, I guess they figure it would just roll off the blue one.
And Eddie, he's thrown the out turn, and if he can jump it into that pocket, I can't see any way Wayne's going to get that out of there.
I don't either. If he comes up with this one, and don't bet against him doing it. He's got a pretty good angle at it, Ted. If he catches that rock thin. Here we go again. Scream for sweeping right all the way.
He could be awful close with this.
He's got a good shot at it. Hit. And no more. For Eddie Werenich. He throws him right back to the 2 mid-on shot. Oh. Well, Mike Harris doesn't have the patent on that one, but wow, what a shot. From just on the corner of the 12-foot into the center, and he's sitting one.
Well, there's certainly nothing there at all.
Well, there's the raise back and maybe try to bang it and hope it stays there.
Now it's frozen. I can't see any possible way he's got a shot at it.
I'd like the instant replay on that one, Ted. What a shot from the, and under that much pressure. And I'm sure Wayne Middaugh was lying too. Wow. As you say, it's one game, and the old master of the angles is at it again.
Well, you certainly feel bad for Wayne because they played an excellent end and had the deuce set, but nothing's safe out here anymore.
Nothing is. We've noticed that all week. I mean, Mike Harris makes a great shot. Ed Werenich made one in the last game, a double that actually backs up. The shot I mentioned of Bob Ingram's, hitting on the nose and rolling right across the rings onto the face of another one. It's incredible shooting.
Like Wayne was forced to put the guard on that rock. There was he didn't really have a choice there.
Well, you can't leave him the shot they've played 3 times already. It's the one you got to cut off. And the one in the center, the straight back yellow rays, they'd played once. You can't cover everything.
If Eddie...
Is that blue stone to the right any play at all, Ted, on that one?
I can't see. Wayne, if anybody could make it, Wayne could. He has to jump it straight sideways. If that blue on the left-hand side was up a foot,
yeah, he'd have the same angle.
He'd have a crack at it, but that's his only chance. Whether he can, I can't see him driving it straight across.
Well, we've seen everything, Ted, I think, this week. We've even seen airborne shots. We've...
Boy.
And, you know, here we are in this one, and we've still got... We've still got the final tomorrow, and it looks like we're going to...
Well, Eddie certainly came to play today, didn't he?
I guess so. Pulling out a last rock victory this morning, a victory over Mike Harris. Wayne Middaugh is going after it. And he's got a crack at it. He hit and rolled. Oh, almost.
Well, he gave it a heck of a try.
What a shot. Ed Werenich won in the 10th inning, a 6-4 victory. And we've got a classic one tomorrow, Ted. Russ Howard and Ed Werenich again. Wow. Two classic games and a fantastic shot by Eddie. Just classic. We also have the mini closing ceremonies, of course, tonight, Ted, but what else can we say? Shooting like that is just incredible.